In your medicine cabinet, there is almost certainly a $2 item that can restore hazy car headlights to a showroom quality finish. This isn't about a minor improvement, it is about fully restoring the transparency they had when they first left the factory. The American Automobile Association has even tested this in laboratories, confirming its remarkable effectiveness. Meanwhile, dealerships often charge between $300 and $800 to replace entire headlight assemblies, something you can handle yourself in just 12 minutes. Consider this. The US automotive parts industry generates over $400 billion annually. Naturally, a $2 hack that saves a consumer a $400 repair bill is a secret they cannot afford to let spread. Consequently, they bury this knowledge behind sales pitches, warnings of potential damage, and thick parts catalogs. They don't hide it because it doesn't work. They hide it because it works too well. This is the story of a chemical reaction that rescues headlights destined for the scrap heap, a secret that the industry both praises and desperately tries to ensure you never learn. In 1981, Ford Motor Company petitioned the U.S. government to change a long-standing regulation. Their objective was to gain permission to discontinue the use of glass headlights. Consider this. For over 40 years prior, every vehicle sold in America utilized sealed beam glass headlights. These were available in only two standard shapes, round or square, and if one broke, a replacement cost about $5 at any local store. The brilliance of glass lies in the fact that it never fades, never yellows, and never oxidizes. A headlight from 1965 remains as crystal clear as it was in 1985. However, it was precisely this durability that troubled the automakers. Glass was too simple. You couldn't patent a new design every year, nor could you charge $200 for a proprietary part. Most importantly, they couldn't force customers to return to the dealership just to purchase a specific bulb designed for a single vehicle model. By 1983, Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 108 was officially amended. Automakers were finally free to replace glass with polycarbonate plastic. This material is 250 times stronger than glass while weighing only half as much. More importantly, it allowed designers to mold it into all sorts of sleek aerodynamic shapes. The automotive industry celebrated as if they had struck gold. However, polycarbonate plastic possesses a fatal flaw that you will never hear mentioned in a showroom. It is extremely susceptible to degradation from ultraviolet radiation. When sunlight hits the surface, it triggers a process known as photooxidation. At a molecular level, UV rays break down the polymer chains, the very bonds that keep the plastic structurally sound. Consequently, microscopic cracks, invisible to the naked eye, begin to form on the headlight surface. Moisture seeps into these fissures and becomes trapped, along with road, salt, grime, and airborne chemicals. The result is the hazy, yellowish fog you see on almost every vehicle over 5 years old. When these headlights leave the factory, they are coated with a thin, UV-resistant layer to take the brunt of the damage instead of the plastic itself. But this protective coating typically only survives for 3 to 5 years before the sun beats it into submission. Once it fails, the underlying plastic is left completely exposed and defenseless. Your headlights are, in essence, rotting right in your driveway every single day without you even realizing it. And here are the figures that will truly outrage you. In 2018, the American Automobile Association published a critically important study. They took the headlights from two popular sedan models, both of which had been in use for approximately 11 years, for testing. The results showed that those degraded headlight assemblies emitted only 22% of the light they did when new. You didn't mishear that. It didn't decrease by 20%, but rather lost a staggering 78% of the illumination meant to keep you safe on dark roads. It is important to note that half of all fatal traffic accidents in the US occur at night. Yet, you are driving with headlights operating at less than half of their original capacity. A child cycling on the shoulder at dusk becomes completely invisible to you. A deer standing in the middle of the road at night remains a faint shadow that you will perceive exactly one fatal second too late. The AAA study also confirmed that restoration kits costing around $20 can help bring headlights back to about 70% of their original brightness. While not 100% perfect, it is still nearly 4 times brighter than when they were blurred. Meanwhile, if you choose to replace the entire assembly, it will cost you between $300 and $800 per side. For luxury brands like BMW or Audi, replacing a pair of headlights can easily cost you over $2,000. Now, here is the math that the automotive industry never wants you to sit down and calculate. Currently, there are approximately 556 million plastic headlights on the roads across America. The average age of cars here has just reached a record high of 12.6 years. Every one of those old, hazy headlights represents an opportunity for them to collect a repair bill of up to $400. If you multiply that by the roughly 100 million vehicles with failing lens covers, you will see the terrifying scale of this issue. Therefore, this is no longer just a matter of a blurry headlight. This is a highly systematic profit model. The US automotive parts industry reached a staggering $414 billion in 2024 alone and is projected to exceed $664 billion by 2028. This is no small-scale trade. It is one of the largest business ecosystems on the planet. And you should know, this entire massive empire operates on a single underlying principle. The customer must never fix things themselves. When your headlights begin to dim, this system has already mapped out a very specific path for you. First, the dealership will tell you that the entire headlight assembly must be replaced. They will quote you around $400, sometimes climbing to $600 when labor costs are included. If you hesitate due to the high price, they will offer a gentler alternative, professional restoration for approximately $75 to $150 per pair. Even this supposedly economical option is actually 40 times more expensive than doing it yourself with items you already have at home. Auto parts stores sell restoration kits for $20 to $30. While they work, that price is still 10 times the actual value of the chemicals inside. No one in the automotive supply chain wants you to know that the chemical secret behind all of it is already sitting in your medicine cabinet for about $2. If you have read this far, your knowledge of headlights is certainly higher tier than 99% of car owners out there. Do not forget to subscribe and share this post with those who are still naively handing over $400 to a dealership to solve a problem that actually only costs $2 to fix. Listen closely, because what I am about to tell you is the exact part the industry giants desperately want to suppress. This is the conspiracy behind every hazy headlight in America. The 5 largest auto parts retailers in the United States generate over $60 billion annually. Names like AutoZone, O'Reilly, and Napa have built an empire on a single ideology. Vehicle maintenance requires specialized products. The problem for them is that they cannot patent baking soda or toothpaste. They cannot claim a patent on polishing compounds that have existed since the 1950s. Most importantly, they cannot generate recurring revenue from items that customers already have in their homes. This entire $400 billion machine revolves around a single psychological lever, making the customer believe that DIY car repair is too complex. They want you to believe that only specialized machinery, proprietary chemicals, or certified mechanics are qualified to touch a vehicle. But think about it, if a 60-year-old grandmother can restore her own headlights using nothing but a tube of toothpaste and a rag in her driveway, that illusion collapses instantly. Consequently, the industry uses the oldest trick in the book, making simple knowledge disappear from your sight. Dealerships train service advisors to always recommend replacing the entire headlight assembly rather than restoring it. A single replacement costs at least $300, and for luxury cars, you can expect $600 including labor. Independent garages might offer restoration, but they charge you $75 to $150 for a job that takes them barely 30 minutes to complete. Meanwhile, auto parts stores sell you kits for $20, $30, even though that flashy box contains about $2 worth of sandpaper and polishing agent. In short, every step of this process is designed to extract as much money as possible from a problem that chemistry solved decades ago. In reality, the science is quite simple. The yellowing on your headlights is not a total failure of the plastic. It is merely a paper-thin layer of oxidation on the surface, hardly even 1 millimeter thick. As long as you can strip away that degraded layer, the plastic underneath remains as clear and strong as ever. All you need to do is clean off that oxidation and then apply something to protect the new surface from the sun. The entire scientific knowledge required to save a headlight is encapsulated in those 2 sentences. Everything else is just a marketing gimmick designed to pick your pocket. Now, I will show you step by step how to do this at home for less than $5. Go to your bathroom and grab a tube of standard white toothpaste. Avoid the gel types. Any basic white toothpaste containing microscopic abrasive particles will work. If you have baking soda on hand, bring that as well for maximum effectiveness. Mix a small amount of toothpaste with a teaspoon of baking soda to create a slightly gritty paste. This homemade mixture is incredibly potent because toothpaste naturally contains microabrasives and a small amount of hydrogen peroxide, the exact same ingredients found in expensive store-bought kits. The baking soda acts as a booster to scrub away stubborn oxidation without scratching the underlying plastic. Next, use masking tape to line the edges of the headlight to protect your car's paint. Apply the mixture directly onto the hazy areas and use a clean rag or an old toothbrush to scrub firmly in a circular motion. Continue this for about 3 to 5 minutes per headlight, applying light pressure and keeping the surface slightly damp. As you work, you will notice the rag gradually turning yellow. That is the oxidation layer being stripped away from the plastic. Afterwards, simply rinse it off with water to see the immediate results. For headlights with only minor haziness, a single application will make a visible difference even from a distance. If the headlights have turned deep yellow from years of neglect, repeat this process 2 or 3 times for the best outcome. This is the most critical step. It determines whether your headlights stay bright for only a few days or remain beautiful forever. Toothpaste helps you strip away the damaged layer, but it also washes away whatever remains of the original UV protection. At this point, the underlying plastic is completely naked under the sun. If you do not apply a coating, the headlights will turn yellow again in just a few months. Therefore, you need to purchase a clear coat with UV protection specifically designed for automotive plastics. A spray can like this costs about $4 to $6 at a hardware store, but you can use it to protect many sets of headlights for several years. Apply 2 to 3 very thin and even coats, making sure to wait about 10 minutes for each layer to dry before applying the next. This surface locking step is the difference between a temporary 3-month fix and a durable 3-year solution. If you want professional grade results, upgrade to the wet sanding method. You only need to buy automotive sandpaper in 400, 800, and 2000 grits, which costs about $3. Start with the coarsest 400 and gradually move to the finest 2000, making sure to spray water while sanding to keep the surface constantly wet. For each grit, sand gently and evenly for about 2 minutes. After sanding, the headlight will look slightly opaque and blurry, but do not worry, that is normal. At this stage, simply apply toothpaste, the baking soda mixture, or an inexpensive polishing compound, and the headlight will immediately become crystal clear. Finally, do not forget to apply 3 layers of UV protection to finish. In total, the cost of this professional method for both headlights is under $10 and takes about 45 minutes of your time. The result is a set of headlights that look brand new and maintain their transparency for 2 to 3 years. To be honest, I want to be clear with you about certain limitations. If your headlights have deep cracks, moisture trapped inside, or if the plastic structure has completely disintegrated, no surface treatment hack will be able to save them. In those specific cases, you truly do need to take the vehicle to a shop for a professional inspection or a full replacement. However, for 90% of the cars on the road today, those simply suffering from ordinary oxidation caused by sun and wind, the low-cost method I just showed you remains incredibly effective. The American Automobile Association has confirmed it, chemistry has proven it, and even the car detailers who charge you $75 for 15 minutes of work know it all too well. Now, take a moment to reflect on what we have explored together over the past 15 minutes. A regulation from 40 years ago inadvertently provided the automotive industry with a pretext to phase out ultra-durable glass headlights, replacing them with plastic ones that begin to degrade after just 3 to 5 years under the sun. That single decision paved the way for a multi-billion-dollar goldmine that flows into the pockets of automakers every year. Today, there are as many as 556 million of these plastic headlights on the roads across America. Every hazy headlight represents an opportunity for them to extract money from consumers. Meanwhile, the solution to this problem has existed for a very long time, and it costs less than a cup of gas station coffee. In reality, this knowledge never vanished. It was simply locked away in a vault that no one bothered to mention to you. If this video has helped you uncover the truth, please subscribe to the channel and share it immediately with everyone you know who is still driving with hazy headlights. Every like and share is more than just support. It helps preserve the invaluable knowledge that the auto parts industry has long sought to erase from the consumer's mind. The next treasure will be revealed soon, and believe me, the secrets inside are far more substantial and shocking than anything you have just heard.